As I am recording this, we are about to start November of 2023. That means we have 2 months, 60 days left in the year. And if we take out all the holidays, all the family gatherings, all the days of shopping, all the days that are filled with distraction and with removing our attention from what we really want to do, we have far, far less. We are looking at closer to 40 days left of productive work in 2023. And that got me to thinking about first where I'm at. And I'm going to be completely honest and transparent with you. I'm nowhere near where I wanted to be by the end of 2023 right now. And so I am assessing and I am taking stock of what did I do with my time and what didn't I do with my time that could have propelled me forward. Why didn't I get to the space where I wanted to get to by the end of 2023? See, I am not one to set New Year's resolutions and then drop them within the first couple of days. In fact, I don't set New Year's resolutions at all. And I will do another episode where I talk more about what I do instead of doing the whole New Year's resolution. But what I do is set intentions and have a destination that I want to reach by the end of the year, right? And so I've been making progress, and especially the last month or so has been filled with a lot of momentum. But I even started wondering what took me so long to get to the momentum that I wanted to get to. What made me hesitate and not get to the space where I knew I could get to at the beginning of the year? And what is it that I'm going to do moving forward? Because see, the other thing that most of us do when we realize we're not where we wanted to be is we dive into this well of shame and regret and confusion and anger and all these disempowering emotions that don't help us move forward either. So what I thought I'd do today in this episode of Sincerely Speaking is get real. Let's get real here. Let's talk about where we were at the beginning of the year, where we are right now, where we want to go, and 3 things that are going to help us maximize and leverage the 2 months that we have left. Because I don't know about you, but I'm ready to do more in these last 2 months than I've done in the previous 10. So if you are with me on this journey and if you are ready to commit with me and to take this challenge with me of making the last 2 months of 2023 stronger, more productive, and more profitable than the first 10, then stick around because we're going to talk about the keys that are going to make that possible.
Hi, welcome to Sincerely Speaking. I'm Marcia Amaro, your self-leadership coach. Now, what that means is I'm here to help you rediscover your calling, tap into your greatest potential and strengths, and eliminate those things that keep getting in your way and in the way of your success. So whatever success looks like to you, whether it is in your career, in your business, in your relationships, or in your life in general, I'm here to help you get out of your own way, remove the obstacles, and elevate all of your life to the next level. If you're ready to see everything that you're capable of and see what your life can look like, I invite you to head on over to marciamaro.com and set up a 30-minute clarity and confidence call where we will talk about your mission, your vision, your goals, the things that you're here on this planet to create, what might be getting in the way up until now, and some actionable, amazing ways to get out of your own way to eliminate all those obstacles and reach the level of success that you've been dreaming of. Are you ready? Are you ready for the next level? Then stick around to this conversation of Sincerely Speaking and then head on over to marciamaro.com and schedule your 30-minute call. Can't wait to meet you in person. Chat soon.
Now, we all know that change is not easy, right? Change sometimes can feel like losing someone, like you end up in this whole space of mourning because who you used to be is no longer going to be. You're going to put to death the old you and literally create a whole new you that is completely different from the you that you were a month, 2 months, 3 months, especially a year ago. So we know that this process that we're going to be talking about today is a process that will yield resistance. We will feel resistance along the way. But one thing that I keep reminding myself is what Einstein said, and I'm going to botch the quote. It's not going to be exactly what he said, but he said something along the lines that you cannot find a solution with the same mindset or the same thinking that created the problem. So in order to find solutions to, or find ways to get around the situations that have been stopping us short, that have been blocking our progress, we have to be willing and able to think differently, to look at things from a different perspective, and to allow our old ways of being and our old ways of doing things to die, and to make space and make room for the new things that we're about to do. So these three keys that I'm going to share with you are not going to be a walk in the park, and they're not going to be superficial. Yeah, let's try this or let's try that. These are three things that are going to require a lot of stamina, a lot of effort, a lot of pain along the way, a little bit, I'm not going to lie to you, and that are going to require us to step into a whole new set of possibilities and a whole new space in our minds, in our hearts, and in our ways of acting, right? So I want to prepare you ahead of time, because this is work that I've been doing, especially over the last few weeks or so, in preparation for what I am getting ready to do in November and December. They are going to be intense months for me, and I invite you to make them intense months for you. I want to give you an image that I actually got from one of my mentors, where she said, I'm on a runway. So you know, when a plane, not the model's runway, I'm talking about the plane's runway, right? You know, when a plane is about to take off, they have so much room to accelerate, reach the speed that they need to, and take off. Otherwise, they run out of runway, and then there's a big crash, and it's not pretty, and nobody's getting anywhere. So she gave me that vision of create a runway for yourself, where you have just so much room. It's limited. It's not never ending. And we know that life is not never ending, right? And our days and our years come to an end. And so we are on literal runways when we think about the time that we have left to accomplish the things that we know we're meant to do. So I want you to imagine with me that November and December are our runway. If we don't take off by the end of December, we're going to crash and burn. And that's not the literal truth, but I want you to create that pressure on yourself. And we tend to think that pressure is bad. Not all pressure is bad. Some pressure is necessary. If not, think about the day before you go on vacation, how much you get done, because you know you want to enjoy your vacation without having all that stuff that wasn't done looming over you, right? Plus, if you're in a certain type of a job, it might be that you can't go on your vacation unless you get some things done and checked off the list, right? So that pressure gives you focus, and that pressure propels you forward to do things in ways that you wouldn't if you didn't feel the pressure, right? A lot of us operate better on deadlines. A lot of us, when I was a teacher, I used to have students all the time tell me, oh, I work better if I wait till the last minute. It's not that you work better if you wait till the last minute. It's that you need that pressure in order to propel you forward and to keep you focused and avoiding distractions. And you can manufacture that pressure. So I want to invite you to think that if we don't accomplish what we set out to accomplish by December 31st, then we're going to crash and burn. Our entire reasons why we're doing this in the first place are going to come crumbling down, and we're going to experience the most painful and the most difficult time ever if we don't commit to doing this by December 31st, right? And I'm being overly dramatic on purpose, because I really want you to embrace the pressure and think about, okay, if I don't do this, then what is going to happen, right? So that is not one of the keys. That's a little bonus. Let's set a runway for ourselves, right? December 31st is the end of our runway. If we don't take off by December 31st, we are going to crash and burn. So what are we going to do between now and December 31st to get to the space where we are experiencing the best year of our lives? We're ending 2023 thinking this was the best year I've ever had in every possible way, in relationships, in my business, in my profits, in my life, in my health, right? It's the best. And then let's think about no more than three things that we can focus on, no more than three things that we can focus on to make 2023 and these 2 months the best, most impactful, and most impressive years we've had so far. Okay, you with me? So once you have those 1, 2, 3 things, no more than three, right? Things that are going to make the end of 2023 the best that it can be, Write them down, and then let's get into the keys, because I want you to have something that you are directing these things towards, right? If I give you the keys without you having something in mind that is going to be powerful enough to propel you to take off before our runway ends, then it's going to be for naught. You're not going to accomplish anything. So again, what is going to make the end of 2023 the most impactful, powerful, productive, profitable that you've experienced in your life up to this point? Right? What is that 1, 2, 3 things that you can focus on that are going to make it so that you can take off in that area of your life, right? So if you're looking at profits, okay, so in your business, what are the 1, 2, 3 things that you can focus on that are going to propel your business in the 2 months that are left? If you're thinking about relationships, your spouse, your kids, what are the 1, 2, 3 things that you can focus on that are going to propel those relationships forward? If you're thinking about your health, what are the 1, 2, right? So pick an area and then up to 3 areas of focus that you can use in order to help propel you forward in this particular area of your life, right? Got it? All right, so now we can move forward. The very first key is awareness. The very first key is awareness. It's probably the hardest one, because what I mean by awareness is getting brutally honest with yourself about where you are. First of all, where you want it to be, right? Where you are, what's the gap, and what kept you from leaping over or walking past that gap, right? So again, where you want it to go, where you are, and be honest, right? What's the gap, right? What is the space in between where you want it to be and where you are? And then what got in the way? What kept you from bridging that gap? Right? And the reason those 4 things are really, really important for you to be aware of is because unless we are honest with ourselves about what we really want, and that's another question that we're going to look at in a second, but unless we are really honest about what we really want, unless we're really honest about how far we are from reaching that particular destination that we set for ourselves, and unless we can identify the things that got in the way, then nothing else is going to matter, nothing else is going to work, right? So when you think about where you want it to be at the beginning of 2023, was it really your goal, or was it something that you thought you needed to have as a goal? Was it something that was imposed by other people's expectations or other people's beliefs or other people's shoulds and coulds? Was it something that you gave into because you were pressured by society? And I already said that pressure can be good, right? But not when it's like peer pressure or societal pressure to do something that is not what you really want. So the first question is, okay, where did I say I wanted to be at the end of 2023 when I started 2023? And if you didn't have a destination, if you didn't have an idea of where you wanted to go, that's our first problem right there. So get clear right now. What do you really want between now and December 31st? And I'm not going to tell you to keep it realistic or to keep it attainable. I'm going to tell you to dream big and dream unreasonable, right? Because if you get dreaming big and dreaming unreasonable dreams, then that's going to force you to elevate your thinking to a different level. If you don't believe me, read the book 10x is better, it's easier than 2x by Dr. Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan, and you're going to understand what I mean. But once you have that big, elevated, lofty dream, it's going to propel you to think differently. It's going to force you to remove the distractions. It's going to force you to take out all the minutiae and all these little things that you've probably been focusing on that are not serving you. And most importantly, it's going to point to the things that will actually accelerate your progress 10x exponentially, right? And then once you know exactly what it is that you want, then get really honest about where you are in relation to that thing. So let's say that what you really want is to lose 50 pounds, right? Just as an example. And when you look at where you're at, you're like, well, I said at the beginning of the year that I was going to lose the 50 pounds, but I lost 10 and I regained 8. So I've only lost 2 pounds. So I still have 48 pounds to go to reach my goal, right? So that is both what you want, where you're at, and what the gap is. What you want is to lose 50 pounds. Where you're at is you lost 2. The gap is you have 48 pounds to go in 2 months, right? That is a big, lofty dream. Is it doable? Yeah, some people have done it, right? So it's a matter of what you really want. do you really want to lose the 50 pounds? Or what you really want is to be muscular and fit? Or what you really want is to lose inches and not necessarily pounds, right? So get really clear on what it is that you really want. And you're never going to be 100% clear, right? But make sure that this destination that you're working towards is what you want because you decided it, and it's going to make you feel like you're advancing and proud of your progress, right? And then once you have identified those things, so what I want, what I really want is not to lose 50 pounds. What I really want is to get into a size 4, right? Right now, I'm a size 8. So the gap is I have to lose enough inches to get from a size 8 to a size 4. Yes? And I need to do some research about what that looks like, how many inches that might be, what I might do to lose inches as opposed to just losing fat, right? And then I'm ready to move forward. But the other thing I need to do is identify what things got in the way before. So when I was trying to lose the weight and I only lost 10 pounds and regained 8, what got in the way? Was it family gatherings that I wasn't controlling myself with what I was eating? Was it eating out? Was it too much sweet? Was it too many sweets? What was it that got in the way? And what can I do between now and moving forward until I do reach my destination to set myself up for success? Right? So if it is that I need to work out and I don't work out, what can I do to set myself up for success? Can I find an accountability partner that will go with me to the gym? Can I find other workouts that are easier for me to do that are more enticing? Can I just dance this thing off? And I love dancing, right? What can I do to, now that I know my obstacles, set myself up for success? If it's that I am addicted to sweets, to sugar, then I need to remove all the sugar from my house, and I need to avoid the places and the circumstances where there's sugar readily available, and or have accountability with me to make sure that I keep up with this commitment, right? So that's the first thing, is that awareness piece. The second key is responsibility. You own everything that happens in your life. I'm going to say that again. You own everything that happens in your life. That's not to say that it's your fault or that you should feel ashamed or that you should beat yourself up, but here's the distinction that I make, and I've said this a million times before. Taking responsibility is like the difference between renting a house and owning a house. If you're renting the house, yes, you live there. Yes, you get to enjoy the environment and the amenities. You also get to suffer through anything that is not the way you want it to be, right? But when you're renting, you don't really have full say on what happens with that house. You can't go breaking down walls. You can't go changing everything around. You can't go changing the layout or whatever it might be. And even if there are repairs to be done, you have to go through the landlord. You have to wait for them to send the person. You have to be willing to put up with whatever they decide to do, right? So you're limited in the scope of what you can do in a rented house because it's not yours. But once you own the house, then you can go crazy. You can do whatever you need to do in order to fix the thing, in order to make it what you want it to be. You can change the layout. You can change the colors. You can change the structure. You can add a new story. You can build up whatever you want to do in order to make the space what you want it to be, right? So it's the same with your life and the things that happen in your life. When you first buy a house, maybe you've been through the experience of buying a house as is, where the contract is like, okay, you're taking it as it is. You can't come back and complain after you move in and you start finding all the flaws and all the faults, right? And maybe you move in and you're like, oh, I just bought a lemon. Oh my gosh, I just bought a money pit. What am I going to do with this thing, right? But it's yours. So you can start slowly but surely making the repairs, making the additions, making the modifications, the remodelings, whatever you need to do to eventually know that your house is going to be exactly what you want it to be. It's the same thing with your life, right? Things might come at you like that as is house that has a lot of flaws that you didn't see until you were actually in it. And it's not your fault. You didn't create it. You didn't do it. You didn't make a bad deal. You don't get to beat yourself up about it. You just get to decide, okay, what is the first thing I'm going to work on to make it better, to make it more livable, to make it more enjoyable. And then once that one's done, what's the next thing, right? And you get in the process to build up your savings, to get the funding, to do whatever you need to do in order to start making and keep making those repairs. Same thing. When you assume responsibility over everything that's in your life and you understand that everything that's in your life you own, then you get to say, okay, I didn't create this. I didn't invite it. I didn't ask for it. I didn't order it up the menu like my mentor Rex Cranes says, but it's here. It's in my life. So now I have two choices. I can either throw my hands up and say, you know what? I just got dealt a bad hand and this is just all there is to it. I'm just going to put up with it. Or you can start finding what to fix and start one thing at a time, making corrections and making changes, right? But you first have to own it and stop playing the victim. So the second key is to assume responsibility for anything and everything that's in your life, knowing that you own it and therefore you can fix it. You can make the corrections. You're not to blame necessarily. You probably didn't invite it and didn't want it. You probably didn't order it off the menu, but it's in your space. So now it's yours to deal with. It's yours to decide what to do with. So you might not have caused it, but it is your responsibility to decide what you're going to do with it and to make the most out of it, to make lemonade out of those lemons, right? And then the third and final key is commitment. Commitment. Most of us, when we set goals, when we do New Year's resolutions, when we start thinking about any type of goal setting process or any type of process that involves envisioning what we want to do in the future and setting destinations for ourselves, we just wish, like, oh, I wish everything would be so nice if only I could, right? Stop wishing. Stop wishing. Make decisions. Decide right now. Whatever it is that you said when I asked you, okay, what's the destination and what are the 1, 2, 3 things that you can start doing to help you move in that direction, you needed to make a decision about what that was. So make a decision that you're going to get there. Make a decision that nothing is going to get in your way. Make a commitment to not have a back door that will help you get out of the space. Make a commitment to move forward no matter what gets in your way. And once you do that, set your mind to looking for the solutions and the directions and the steps that are going to take you there. Don't worry about the how right now. The how will appear when you start walking in that direction, when you make the decision that you're going to get there. And there's no plan B, there's no other option. You're going to get there. And once that decision is firm, you're going to notice that your brain goes to work in figuring out, okay, how can I do this? Who can help me? Where is the resource? How can I get there? So to wrap it all up, the 3 keys that are going to get us to take off before we hit that runway at the end of the year are our awareness, being completely clear on where we are, where we want to be, and what's getting in the way, and what we're going to do to not let that stuff get in the way anymore. Responsibility, knowing that we own everything in our lives, and the best thing that we can do is just say, okay, it's in my space, I own it, I'm going to change it. And then to commit to making that change and reaching that destination. Now, if you need help with any of this, go over to marciamaro.com, set up the free 30-minute call with me, and we will chat about where you're at, where you want to be. I will help you set these things up. But just go to marciamaro.com, set up that free 30-minute call, and I will help you. And in the meantime, if you enjoyed this, subscribe, hit like like, subscribe, and share. That's what I meant to say. And share this with people in your life that you know might find it valuable. And I will see you next week here on Sincerely Speaking. Bye.